And then I want us to think about what it truly means to become human, like the F-zine. And you asked me about what motivated my Meaning of Life symposium. What motivated it, in part, I mean, of course, it was an inside joke of turning 42, but what motivated it in part was actually a midlife crisis. So the joke that I always like to say is Christos Papadimitriou, a famous Greek professor who was previously at MIT, at Harvard, at Stanford, at Berkeley, everywhere. Brilliant person. Actually Kostis' advisor. So Christos Papadimitriou likes to say that when you're an undergrad, you work like a rat to get into grad school. And where you're grad student, you work like a rat to get your PhD. And where you're a postdoc, you work like a rat to get your assistant professorship job. And where you're an assistant professor, you work like a rat to become a full professor. And then when you're a full professor, well, by then you're basically a rat.
That's brilliant.
So basically what happened to me is that I arrived at the end of the rat race.
Yeah.
You know, life is a rat race. You constantly have hurdles to jump over. You constantly have tunnels and secret pathways. And I figured it all out. And eventually, as I was turning 42, I looked back and I was like, wow, that was an awesome rat race. But I'm not a rat. I basically got out of the labyrinth and I was like, I'm not a rat, turns out.
Is that the first moment where you saw that you were in a rat race?
No. I've known that I'm in a rat race for a long time. It's so easy to be in a rat race. It's so easy to be an undergrad because you have problem sets. And you know, we're all smart people. You know, problem set, it has a solution. Somebody made it for you. You can just solve it.
Yeah.
Everything was made as a test. And you keep passing those tests and tests and tests and tests. And you have tasks that are well defined. The PhD is a little different because it's more open-ended. But yet you have an advisor who's guiding you. And then you become a professor. And tenure is a well-set, defined set of tasks. And you do all that. And at 42, I basically had bought a house, 3 kids, beautiful wife, tenure, awesome students, tons of grants. Life was basically laid out for me. Yeah. And that's when I had my midlife crisis. That's when people usually buy a Harley Davidson. And they basically say, oh, I need something new, I need something different, I need to be young myself, etc. But basically, that was my realization that it's not a rat race, that there's no rat race, it's over. That I have to basically think, how do I fully instantiate myself? How do I complete my transformation into an actual human being? Because it's very easy to sort of forget all the intangibles of life. It's very hard to just sort of think about the next task and the next task, and it's all metrics. And, you know, what is the number of viewers I have? What is the number of, you know, publications I have? What is the number of citations? The number of talks? The number of grants? It's very easy to quantify everything. And then at some point, you're like, this is real life. It's not a test anymore. And that's something that I told my wife early on. I was like, no. Our life is not going to be, let's put the kids through college. And that, you know, maybe that's when I escaped the rat race. Maybe it continued being a rat race. Maybe the next step would have been, all right, how do I make sure that my kid is first in class? Right. How do I make sure that they're, you know, into the greatest college? And then, you know, they're into college and then you're like 60.
So how do you escape? What is the, is there a light at the end of the tunnel of a midlife crisis?
So you should watch that symposium, because the videos were transformative to me and to many others. So basically, the advice that I received from all of my friends was so meaningful. This, you know, there's some advice that basically says you have to constantly maintain unachievable goals. Goals that you can make progress towards, but you can never be fully done with. And I think that's almost playing into the sort of rat race thing, like basically make sure that there's more obstacles for your little rat persona to jump through. So that's one possibility.
So first of all, watch. Is it available somewhere?
It's on YouTube. Just Google
really?
Meaning of Life Symposium.
I should have known this. I mean, you should have told me this. This is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
This is great. But, and also like, you know, saying rat race is, you know, if we look at Ratatouille, it's not, I mean, that's a beautiful thing of challenges and overcoming challenges. That could be fundamentally the meaning of life, is to see life as a set of challenges and to fully engage in the overcoming of those challenges?
I would say that that's embracing the rat race view of life. So a joke that we like to have with my wife all the time is we basically say, we pretend that we're in this all-inclusive resort, that we've basically hired all these people to go on the Esplanade and play games because we enjoy watching people playing on the Esplanade, and we enjoy sort of laying and looking at life and all the people biking and rollerblading and all of that. And then we've paid all these people in this all-inclusive resort that we live in. And then what are we going to do today? I'm like, oh, I've signed up for professor activities. It's going to be awesome. They lined up a bunch of super smart MIT students for me to meet with. I'm going to have a grant writing meeting afterwards. It's going to be awesome. And then she signed up for a bunch of consulting activities. It's going to be great. And then in the evening, we just get back together and say, hey, how was your consulting today?
Yeah.
So in a way, that's another view of life, of basically, wait a minute, if I was a gazillionaire, what would I choose to do? I would probably pay an awesome university to give me an office there and just pay a bunch of super smart people to work with me, even though they don't really want to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have exactly the life that I have now, working my butt off every single day because it's so freaking fulfilling.
Well, so let's clarify. It's a beautiful way. It's almost like a video game view of life. That it's a set of, I mean, again, game is not perhaps a positive term, but it is a beautiful term. So you do you or do you not like the rat race view of life?
No,
because it is fulfilling in some.
The rat race is
way.
about the goal. My view of life is about the path. So again, quoting Greece.
Those folks have come up with some good stuff.
So this Odysseus Elitis basically wrote this beautiful poem about sort of going through life, saying, as you go through your journey, impersonating Ulysses of his voyage, he says, wish that the path is long and arduous. Because when you get to Ithaca, you might realize that it was all about the path, not the destination.
And
so the rat race view of life makes it all about the destination. It's like, how do I get through the maze to get there? But the all-inclusive resort view of life is about the path. It's about, wow, today I couldn't wish for a better set of activities all programmed for me to enjoy having my brain, having my body, having my senses, and, the life that I have. So it's a very different kind of view. It's focused on the journey, not on the destination.